The Namibian police force in 2016, when Namibia launched its second amnesty month, destroyed over 1,000 firearms, over 99,000 ammunition and 81 unexploded ordnances. Nampol's Chief Inspector Itetila Shapaka explains that violent cases reported with the police, such as robberies, gender-based violence and house break-ins, often involve firearms, further noting that criminals taking advantage of the amnesty month and surrendering firearms linked to a criminal offense will be prosecuted.
So what you are saying is that if a firearm can be linked to a crime, then obviously that is a discussion of another day. Obviously one has to be prosecuted. The non-prosecution or newly prosecuted that we are talking about is the possession thereof. If you are possessing a firearm that is not registered, it's unlicensed, and all these kind of things. Or firearms that obviously serial numbers that are scratched or tampered with in any sense. So these are the firearms that we are looking at. But if, for instance, a firearm that has been listed as an item that was used in the commission of an offense, that obviously is not what we're looking at, because obviously that case is already standing. Say, for instance, it was a murder or housebreaking, robbery, and this firearm is the one that was used in the commission, and we can establish through investigations that this firearm was used in the commission of this offense. Obviously, that we have to look at it different, from a different perspective. When we speak about amnesty, this relates to, a period that is specified or predetermined by the minister, the line minister that is responsible for the enforcement, of arms and ammunition in terms of the Arms and Ammunition Act of 1996. Now what you're saying is that the minister has declared the whole of September month, as an amnesty period. And now that is coupled with silencing of guns in Africa, that is the agenda of the whole continent. Now coming back home, what you are saying is this is the third time actually that this declaration is done, given the fact that a lot of people have firearms that are not registered. And you are saying by law one is to be prosecuted when you are in possession of unregistered firearms, armaments and unexploded ordinances, most of which obviously people have inherited from the past generations for sentimental value or whatever the case might be. Or it can even be for reasons, some people were in the war back in the day, and then now they have these firearms that they have collected, either for collector's items, or people have bona fide, licenses, and they want to get rid of these, firearms. Now, obviously, this is the right time to do it without fear of being prosecuted. And obviously, if we let this opportunity go, then the law will obviously take its course if you are to be found with unlicensed firearms, say from October going onwards. So we need to now take advantage of this situation, because we are not going to be prosecuted. That obviously does not mean the minister has accepted the powers of prosecution, because obviously this is expressly provided for in the same act that I'm just referring to. So obviously people are not going to be prosecuted.
The Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security has published a notice of the amnesty month in the Government Gazette to ensure that all people giving up arms are not persecuted but protected by the law. It is thus calling on Namibians to surrender their unlicensed firearms, armaments and ammunition held in contravention of the law.
As far as the processes are concerned, we have a lot of administrative procedures in place that sort of guides the administrative officers. So that means the firearm has to be registered in a POL 7. The POL 7 is an exhibit registered with the Namibian Police Force, but we are not registering as an exhibit, but that is just the measure that we have in place. There is a form that has to be completed that sort of details out the person that is handing it over, surrendering to the police, and the particulars of the firearm that is being surrendered. And that is it. So you get a copy of that receipt that you have handed it over to the police, and the process is done.
The Namibian Police Force during the financial year 2018-2019 has recorded 158 cases of attempted murder with a firearm, while during 2019-2020, 161 cases were recorded and 134 cases were recorded during 2020 and 2021 financial year. Of cases of pointing of a firearm, 362 were recorded during 2018-2019 and 301 during 2019-2020, while 256 were recorded during 2020 and 2021 financial year. Cases of theft of firearms recorded in 2018-2019 stood at 143, whilst in 2019-2020 cases stood at 123, and during 2020-2021 cases stood at 114.